and then that there is a vast territory. It's like a new country to be explored and inhabited as women. Because what we've learned about this country, hearing from it or looking at it from a certain lens, is totally is fake. It's not real, or it's only one-sided. It's limiting the possibility to play full out, to discover the colors of life, to be fully turned on by life even. So that's what I want to tap our toes in together today in these next 2 hours as the territory of the introduction to Rage Club. And then in the 4 sessions that will follow afterwards from next week going forward, that territory we will venture into and inhabit together even more, like deepening it and practicing together. Okay, so in terms of logistics, there's a practice for clarity that anger brings with it, is to handle logistics, everything organizational beforehand, then it's out of the way and we don't have to think about it. You don't have to think about it. I don't have to think about it. And I love that clarity. So logistically, we'll go for 2 hours. I've started the recording. You will need a rage towel, which is a hand-sized towel, or whichever size towel you have, a towel that you can roll up and use to get angry as an assisting tool. And you will need some water to drink. And I'll leave it up to you to have something to write, to take notes of the gems that you might find in this country and this territory. And also, tissues are really valuable, because when we start to feel anger consciously or allow it to be there, then often from experience, that also opens the gates for other feelings to emerge, and that includes sadness. And another really useful tool that you might use is a bucket or another sort of bowl, because when you start clearing the tubes of your anger channels, the stuff that's stuck in there might want to come out, and then it's really good to have a bucket or another container that you can spit into. And in brackets, that is something that you might not have to use today. It's more something when we go into higher intensities of anger. But who knows? Who knows where your tubes are blocked? Okay. Do you need something around? Does anybody need to get something around that still? Okay, then just do that now, and then it's sorted. Claire, will you tell us where you are? Or let's maybe all say where we are so that we know where we are. Where on the globe are you?
I am in northern Italy, in a little city called Lecco.
Lecco?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, I've been here for about 2 years, but I'm originally from Auckland.
All right, so you are Kiwi born.
Yes, I'm a Kiwi.
Thank you. Well, yeah, I'm in Taupo, or in Tokano actually. I'm in Tokano at the southern end of Lake Taupo. Who else?
I am in Golden Bay, New Zealand, and I'm originally from Portugal.
I am in Greece right now. I guess very close to Lecco, but I don't know where exactly is it. Yeah, I am in the north of Greece, a city called Thessaloniki.
And I'm in the room next to Yulia and the southern end of Lake Taupo.
Is that why?
So I put my thing on mute because it's like echoing. This is why I do that.
Thank you. So you can imagine that we're actually, the way we're positioned, it goes around the globe if you look at going both ways. So we're from from the South Island, the North Island, and then extending to Greece and to Italy. And that's great news because the fire of anger to enrich and really the soil of the earth and to bring forth the aliveness, it needs to go around the globe. So we're doing something really, important here. Fire starting is one of my passions, and fire starting can be in the physical realm, actually starting a fire. But why I'm here is to start or really start the fire in women for conscious anger. There's a part in me that knows deeply intrinsically that the fire in women will actually change the world, and it's already there. The fire is already there in women. It's more rekindling. I think that's the proper way of saying it. Bringing it back to life, blowing it, allowing it to become bigger, because it has this force of cutting out, and that's the force of anger, of cutting out bullshit, of taking a stand for something that is totally unreasonable to take a stand for. And there are a lot of things that need to change on this planet if life is to stand a chance. And women carry this seed of wisdom about something entirely different, because it comes with this feminine wisdom. It comes from a feminine, deeply feminine place. That wisdom, what our birth culture has brought along is a patriarchal culture. And in patriarchal cultures, the feminine has no space. The aliveness needs to be suppressed. You can't be too loud. You can't be angry, really, right? Does anybody know about that? You can't be angry. Yeah, I've learned that in my birth culture, which is Germany. Yeah. So Rage Club is about giving you access, or for you to take the next step, really, because some of you have done Rage Club before. But the purpose of Rage Club is to allow you so that you can train your anger muscle, your conscious anger muscle, so that you are able to take more responsibility of this power of anger, of conscious anger. And for that to become a possibility, a real possibility for you, a shift in your thought where is necessary. Like a fundamental shift in your perspective of anger. So given that we've all grown up in a patriarchal culture where anger is not okay, you can't be angry. And I want to hear from you about that, but I'm just going to say a few things before we go into a sharing space. For that to be, since we've all come from that culture, it runs really deep and it runs subtly. But even like the first layer is very obvious, and for that to shift, you need to really get it in all your 5 bodies, your physical, your emotional, your intellectual body, but also your energetic body and in your archetypal body, that anger is really nothing bad. Instead, it is something, it's a neutral energy, it's your life fire, it's part of your life force to be able to create what you're here for in the world. So that's what I want to explore. Part of that is like we're gonna look at that as far as we can today, given that this is an introduction, and then take it from there. And wherever you are is exactly the place where you are. You cannot go anywhere from where you are not. So it's really important to me that you go where you can go and not compare yourself to anybody else. So that makes this space a really different space from what you will have encountered in modern culture, in the standard culture, where you have a teacher and the teacher tells you what you can do and what you cannot do. And this is not a space like that. I'm navigating this space like I bring with me some maps, and I've chosen to hold space for this, but that doesn't mean that you have to give your center to me, that you have to treat me like an authority figure, because I am not. I am my own authority, and learning to use your anger consciously is actually the enabler for you to be your own authority. And that is how the wisdom of each one of us carries in her seed can come to the world, is when each one of us is 100% in her own authority. So let's start there. And to be in your own authority, you need to be in your center. Being in your center means that you have the center of your attention in your physical center, just like in the starting position of martial arts, where you can move into any direction from that place of presence, from utter presence. Has any of you done martial arts before? Has any of you done judo or karate or jujutsu or anything like that?
I did very briefly Aikido.
Aikido, yeah, that's a great one for practicing being centered. Yeah. So did you do any martial arts, Claire, or?
Only as a young child. I think I did some lessons in karate.
Well, thank you. Then you know, even though you might not remember all of the moves, it doesn't matter, but you know that there's a starting position. So I did judo for several years when I was young, and I remember when we would stand opposite each other before fighting, and we stand opposite each other, and then we'd come into our center, bend our knees slightly. You could do that now if you want. Yeah, please stand up if you can. Stand up and put your feet firmly on the ground. And bend your knees slightly so that they're not overstretched, so that you can really feel the power of your body, that you could jumpstart into any direction right now. So that's how then you're not leaning forward into the screen, you're not leaning backwards, your body weight is balanced. It's centered. The body weight is centered. And then in judo, you would bow to each other, and then you start fighting. It's the same. The starting position is pretty much in every, actually, I'm going to say this hypothesis that it's in every sports. You need to come into first position. Even in ballet, you cannot have your balance if you're not centered. Or if you're horseback riding, you'll fall off the horse if you're not centered. So, okay, I'm inviting you to go through the centering process with me. So you can close your eyes, and as you're standing, noticing first the position of your body, where you're standing, where the weight is of your body, whether it's really in the middle of your like well balanced on your feet. And imagining even that there's this thread pulling you up slightly, really ever so slightly through your crown, the center of your crown, that your neck is not overstretched either backwards or forwards, so it's relaxed, sitting relaxed on your spine. And then start noticing where your attention is right now. Is your presence fully here, or are you with some part of your attention with somewhere else, with maybe or the task that you still have to do, or thinking about other sports where you might have a first position or not, whether my statement is correct or not. You might be there. And simply notice that to start with. Notice where you are with your attention. Where your attention is, your energy goes. And so now bring your attention, all of your attention, the center of your attention to your physical center. And that is 2 fingers below your belly button, inside your belly, so between the front and the back, between your hip bones, inside your belly. You're bringing your attention with your intention there. And using your intention in that way is a part of applying anger, the energy of anger. And you don't have to understand it, but you can have a sense of it as you do it. This determination of the intention of saying, I'm present now. I'm bringing all my attention into this one place. And you might notice you need a bit of energy for that. And then from there, to be fully in first position, you have a tool. Your fingers can click and you can declare. You can declare energetic things. So you can declare you will click with your finger and declare a grounding cord from your center, your physical energetic center, down to the earth, to the center of the earth. And let's do that together at the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. And just notice what changes for you. You now have this connection, this conscious connection between your center and the center of the earth. You can notice a color there, and even if you don't see it with your eyes, you can know of the color of your grounding cord. So please say it as at the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Brown.
Orange. Green.
Green.
Thank you. So stay with that sensation, with that noticing a bit more. Noticing the color is one step, noticing the consistency, the bigness or the width of the grounding cord. And noticing also what this connection with the earth does. It's a two-way connection where energy can flow down and can come up. So it's a resource for you. And the third step to come into first position is clicking again. And with this click, you will declare a personal bubble of space around you, which is only for your own energy and information. So let's do that together at the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. And notice how big that is right now, where you have this line where your bubble ends and the space outside your space begins. That is the distinction of your personal bubble of space. So it's by no means a wall, it's more like a membrane that breathes. And notice what it's like to have your own space, because you declared it so. That also is an application of the power of anger. To have this clarity and this focused declaration that this is your space for your own energy and information. And you can make this bubble as big or small, so as close to your body as you need to make it, so that your energy will never have to intermingle and enmesh with another person's energy again, because you can make it like a second skin. And that's so valuable because you need your energy and information to be in the world. So in this place, you are connected to your inner authority. You're connected to your center, you're grounded, and you're in your own space. Please open your eyes and look at us. Thank you. You can sit down again, and whenever you notice that your center has gone somewhere else, that maybe you're giving your authority away, you're waiting for me to say something clever, or you notice something and you don't say it because you think, well, Julia probably knows what she's doing, that's in that moment you give your center away, and in that moment you could just center yourself again. It's a continuous process to center yourself. Okay, so let's have a round of, I would like to know, of check-in. I would like to know from you, what what is your edge with anger? Where are you? What have? Wait, I'm throwing too many questions into the space. What brings you here? That's the question. Will you share with us what brings you here? And the invitation is, yeah, go. So that you just follow your impulse and you go when you need to speak. Go, Rita.
I am here because I am committed to keep doing my own feelings work, and also committed to hold spaces for other people to explore their relationship with their feelings and keep doing their own feelings work. I am here to also to be in a space of collaboration and co-creation and discover what that is. And particularly in this case with women, I am on this unknown edge of exploring how does that go, to be in collaboration and for each other and being by each other's side.
Thank you. So when I say thank you, I mean I've heard you, and I invite you to also find a way of saying I've heard you to the woman that spoke, to be by her side, to whatever way that sounds for you. Yeah.
Thank you, Rita.
Dimitra, it looks like you have the microphone next.
Yes, I was about to say, and I don't want exactly to answer this question. I want to say something that it bears into, since I heard you speaking and you say about a fundamental shift for is needed in the mindset about anger to happen. And I was watching some old, like from the 90s movies that it's not so political correct. And I was watching how men is allowed to show their anger everywhere. And yeah, I'm watching these films like with completely different mindset. And I was feeling glad when you said that, because I felt joy, because that shift has happened to me. And now when I feel anger, it's like it's not a bad thing anymore. And I have started noticing, yeah, this big, I don't know the English word, how big is this thing between how men is allowed to be anger and how women is not. And because I'm living in Greece, this is even bigger, I think than other countries. And yeah, for me, so what is bringing me here now, it's because it's very difficult for me to connect with this anger and to be expressed in everyday life, to say yes. And I have committed to myself that I'm going to do that. Like it's a life, it's a matter of life or death for me to learn how to do it, to be able to do it. Because yeah, I'm sad when I'm not doing it. And it's also yeah, it's also very important for me for one day be able to hold or to speak about anger work to other women, especially here in, like, I'm really about the people where my country, yeah, like it's very sad for me to see how women treated and how they suppress their anger for so many generations. That brings me, like, this is very moving for me. So I'm here to learn, to practice more in my everyday life and be able in the future to hold the space for other women to have this distinction about feeling their anger conscious. I don't know what is the right one. Yeah. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
hearing me.
Thank you, Dimitra.
Thank you. And I love that you're demonstrating your shifts by speaking about other things than what I asked for. That's also a way of applying anger consciously. It's to make your own space. Someone asks you a question and you choose. Do you answer that question? Do you choose to answer another question? Do you choose to add another answer? It's really up to you. And that is part of the potential of being centered so that you can speak about what really matters to you right now. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm here because I go back to like big changes that I've been able to make, and it started with me learning to feel my anger, and I feel so much like joy that this clarity is able to be there in me. Like just today I was speaking with a man, and he was sort of standing behind me as he was talking to me, like, yeah, just sort of in this kind of space. And I asked him to stand, like not stand behind me. I asked him to not do that. And he sort of like, and this was me connecting to this anger in me to be able to do that. And I felt so glad that it just came through really clear and clean, and I didn't freak out by doing that. I just like could hold that energy and that question, that request in my body. And this is so different to how I've been taught and raised to be a woman with my body and with interacting with men particularly. And I feel it's just such an important part to making any sort of change and creating what I want, is to being able to be with my anger and listen to it and use it and not be frightened of it. And I'm really glad to be doing it with women, because there's something essential about women's anger and bringing about change and collaboration. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Millicent.
Thank you, Millicent.
Millie. I am here, I guess, first of all, because my friend Millie invited me. I feel like maybe I might not be as good at articulating my feelings or what exactly drew me to come, because it was more than that. Women's Rage Club maybe appealed to me because maybe I feel like I am angry about different things, but that anger is and has always been locked inside. And it appealed to me to meet with other women and, I don't know, have a connection with other people and talk about this openly, which is not something that I'm used to or that I've ever done before. So it seemed positive to me. And yeah, that's it.
Thank you, Claire.
Thank you, Claire.
Thank you, Claire.
I notice, yeah, I'm reminded, and I notice also in me as you speak, Claire, the fear of naming things, right? Or to even show up it's scary to show up in a space with women and say, yeah, I feel angry about some things. It's really a big step to just take that step. So we've all started there. That's what I want to say. That's where it starts, when the bar is really high of don't be angry, be nice. And especially for women, Dimitra, you touched upon that. And you said that too, Claire. For women especially, it's not okay to be angry. Boys are encouraged to fight with each other. To the extent that I wanted to be a boy growing up, because I thought, they have access to, like, they're encouraged to do stuff that I want to be doing. And I think a lot of girls growing up have that still today. So the fear of anger is one of the biggest obstacles to anger, besides the stories that make for the fear. And as I said earlier, when we're actually accessing anger consciously, then it's safer also to feel fear and sadness and joy. But there is a really powerful connection between anger and fear, when anger cannot be there because we're so scared of being angry, or sometimes also the fear can't be there. That's probably more what the masculine does. What men learn is to not feel fear, because it's a scaredy cat if you're scared. Then men probably have more the tendency to go over their fear with their anger. So these feelings really interact with each other, and it's real. It's not a concept, it's real. You will experience that once you start putting some consciousness on it, being aware of it. There is a real impact that comes from feeling and from manipulating, suppressing feeling, to the extent that disease can come from that. Disease can be caused by suppressed emotions. And I want us to, the space of Rage Club, and also hence the introduction, is more a training, experimentation, practice space. So that, yes, sometimes we need to talk, but also it's a lot about, let's get out of our head, let's get into our bodies and experience. How does this work then? How does that work in my system? Because at the end of the day, in order for you to be able to take it into your everyday life, you need to take it from your experience. It cannot be coming from your head. Otherwise, you're reproducing what you heard me say, but you're not living it in your experience. And then where's your center? Your center is then in a story about it that I told you maybe, or that you heard somewhere else. So then the invitations really make it your own. If something doesn't land in you, don't pretend that it's landing. Just be with it, that it's not landing, and admit it. Say, that doesn't work for me. I don't get it. And go there. That's where real change happens, is when we allow ourselves to experience something different that then can shift or make a real shift in our bodies, like I said before, in the 5 bodies. Then you walk away not as a person that has gotten more information for her brain, but as a person that has actually changed in these couple of hours together. And then you can apply that in your everyday life, where the real training happens in your everyday life. And then the beauty of being in a Rage Club for 4 sessions together is that we can come together and share. It's like, I tried this, didn't work. And someone else said, yeah, well, I tried that too, it didn't work, and I did something different. And so we're on a research together, really. It took me a while to notice that I could do certain things in these training spaces, but I would totally forget about them outside in my everyday life. And so it matters to me that you don't have to walk with conscious anger for 2 years before you notice, oh, this is how I could access it in my everyday life. Oh, this is how it actually plays out if I use it. Is there anything to say from anyone or to ask before we go to the next?
No.
Okay.
No.
Thank you for saying no, Rita. And here's an experiment for us to do together in this time together. And that is to, when I ask you a question, to practice your clear yes and your clear no. And notice how the space shifts when you do that versus when you don't say anything or you say mm-hmm. And play around with it. Really make it a conscious experiment. What changes when you are actually there and say yes or no? Clearly, so I can hear you and the space can hear you. What changes for you and what change? Yeah. So that's an experiment for you to do, and for me as well, if I get a chance. If you're bombarding, if you dare to ask yes or no questions to the space, then I will also do that. So the next thing that I want to do with you is to go into breakout rooms. I'll send you into breakout rooms. And for one of you to start and say, I feel angry about, or because, I feel angry because, and just say what you're angry about right now. What do you remember of being angry? And just let yourself share with this other woman for 3 minutes what you're angry about. And then you swap roles, and I will write, and I will also come around. I will go into the breakout rooms. And so I'm not coming there to control, I'm just coming to be with you and see and be with you. So I don't have to wait for you in the void. So I'm creating 2 breakout rooms. And the universe has chosen. I did not do this. So you will have 3 minutes, choose which person goes first, and then share with the other. I feel angry because. And let yourself feel some of that anger. So you don't have to make it big or dramatic, but let yourself also be with it. Okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank
Yes.
you. Go.
Yes.
Yes.
A timer?
Yes, I have. I will. Okay, you can start.
Thank you. I feel angry because I am getting sleepy. I feel angry because I had a conversation today and I held back on some dangerous feedback. I feel angry because I want to keep bringing my clarity, and I feel angry because I keep telling myself that I have too many impulses and too many things to speak. I feel angry because I moderate how much I say and how much I speak. I feel angry because there is like so much that I want to create and I want to speak to people about, and I am cutting down on how much I bring to not be too much. I am angry that when I do bring things, my fear takes over and then the information doesn't come clearly. I'm angry because I keep going into my head. I'm living in my head so much. I'm angry because I notice how I'm angry because I have been getting sick so often. I'm angry because I lack expression. I notice how like my body is rigid. I'm angry because I don't know how to move and how to express physically also. And I am so scared about it. I am angry. I'm angry because of a movie I watched about women, like sexual abuse, and specifically with women. I am angry because it is it is so like sexual abuse and rapes also, but yeah, specifically, it's so common. Angry. I'm angry for all the times I have put up with abuse from men.
You have 30 minutes more.
I feel angry that I'm stopping talking because Yuli is here, and I feel angry because I want to be able to. I feel angry about the stories that come when I say I feel angry. Like I feel angry about this judgment that gets so quickly into me. Like I'm suddenly a problem if I'm angry. I feel angry about that. I feel angry that I didn't put the fireplace in the bell tent this week, and I feel angry that the chickens aren't laying in the hen house, and I don't know where the eggs are. And I feel angry that you've got such a pretty smiley face, Claire, but I know how fiery you are inside, and that there's this passion in you that gets so caught up. I feel angry about that.
I feel good that you recognize that. Yeah, but I feel so angry about it as well, that all this is locked inside me, and I'm so scared to connect with my own feelings, and even my own anger just makes me feel so anxious, and other people's anger. And it's like this thing that I try and just hide from constantly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel angry that I forget my words. I feel angry that I can't say the thing that I want to say.
Mm. It's good that you've been doing writing though, and you've been writing the things you want to say. I appreciate that. I feel angry that, yeah, I don't seem to ever find a way of expressing myself. Yeah, and here in this life that I have here for the past 2 years, I just feel like a shell of who I actually am. Yeah, like a milder, quiet, timid version of who I really am. And I'm so locked into this person that I am here that I don't know how to break out of it and actually be myself.
Thank you.
Oh, please come to an end. Okay. Shall we leave?
What did you find out about your anger?
I found out about my anger that, or a piece I found out is that it supports me to keep going. Also, when I use my anger to go, to create, to go in a certain direction and create action. And when something falls apart, when my plan or wherever I'm going towards, whenever I fall, so to say, I also use my anger to keep going, to stand up and go again.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rita. I found that I felt a lot of joy to be speaking about what I was angry about to Claire. And I felt really glad to hear her anger as well. Like I felt connected here. Like I could feel me there.
Thank you.
you. I discovered that I was a lot on my mind, and still I'm so angry. Like I put the anger towards me, and I'm not speaking about the anger, like what I'm angry about around me. And yeah, and I enjoyed hearing Rita because she like speaking about her anger, and yeah, showing herself. But I enjoyed. I felt more able for me than to share.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dimitra.
Thank you. I felt like once I started voicing my anger, it all just kind of came out. Maybe, yeah, I guess I try and avoid my anger and suppress it, so much so that I may not even be consciously aware of what I'm angry about. So it felt amazing to actually focus on exactly what I'm angry about, and realizing that I've been really angry in these past 2 years, because I have, I guess, become like someone who can't express these feelings of anger. And yeah, it felt great to do that.
Thank you, Claire.
Thank you.
Claire.
So the perfidious thing about anger is that it's actually there all the time. The question is just, what do we do with it? Yeah. So what I've noticed in myself and in women in particular is this thing of self-doubt. Self-doubt is a way of directing anger towards myself. Doubting and maybe even mixing fear in there. Doesn't matter, but anger plays a role in there. Beating myself up for not being good enough, even for not being angry enough. It's the same mechanism of using anger inwardly because we didn't have a training in using it outwardly, or learning to use it outwardly was suppressed. So rather than acknowledging there's something really screwed here with the world, that I cannot express my anger when this is a gift from nature that I have gotten. Like, it's not a birth defect. 100% of the population on this planet of human beings has anger as a resource. But then to treat it as a defect is insane. But as children, we're learning anger is not okay. So what we do is like, oh, the world out there cannot be insane, so I must be insane. The world out there cannot be wrong because everybody's doing the same thing. As we orientate ourselves as children towards the outside world, we watch our parents, we learn from them through what they do. The only option for most girls is to go, there's something wrong with me. There's something wrong with my anger. It's not okay to be angry outside, so there must be something wrong with me. And that's screwed. I feel angry about that. So there is all these beliefs about anger. There are these stories that we hold about anger. And then there's a whole the territory I spoke about where we use a different approach to anger, We look at it from a different perspective. And you've had an experience of voicing it. That's one big part of the anger, is to be able to have a voice. So what happened to humanity when women gave up their voice? They're not actually the victims. They let themselves be victims. So what happened when women stopped having a voice?
Wisdom was lost.
Wisdom was lost. Yes. What else?
There's like these so many complaints with womb problems and menstrual problems and ovaries that don't work so well.
Yeah.
Like out of a rhythm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So like the
And with
system
this
is blocked.
wisdom-
Yes. Go.
With the wisdom that was lost in what Millicent was mentioning about things going out of balance, it's this like, yeah, there's the balance that men bring and women bring. This wisdom from both sides, and the world goes out of balance if you lose one voice. So this wisdom that comes from this side.
Yeah. Anybody else have a piece for us for our? Yeah. What did you ever notice something around that, or is that something you never considered before? Which is also fine. You know, it could be like, oh, I never thought about that.
I never
Well,
thought about that.
I never thought about that either.
Mm-hmm.
The
No,
whole
thank you.
patriarchy
Oh.
has like it's based on this, on not like having the man's voice and not having woman's wisdom in the space, in the culture, and the results don't like, yeah, I don't like the results.
What do you feel about the results, Rita?
I feel angry. I feel angry about it, and I can feel under my anger there is sadness, there is fear also.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I
And
don't feel glad about it.
yes, and that is the anger here shows really that what you're angry about is what you care about. That's part of the new perspective on anger. A perspective that gives you more possibility. It goes, whoa, I'm angry about this. Wow, I care about this. So I want it to change. Also, what you're angry about is what you're here to change. You have that capacity to change things. And to be so audacious that you could actually consider that your voice is part of changing the whole culture, the whole patriarchy, making it obsolete. It is already obsolete, but it needs to be lived. And that's it. Without women's voices, there would be no patriarchy, or without women's voices suppressed or letting themselves suppress their voices. Yeah. Without women playing along in the patriarchy, there would be no patriarchy. And that is great. Like, I feel glad about the clarity of that, because it means there's a way to shift. If each woman reclaims her voice, we have a different game. We're playing a different game. And the way that women connect with each other is mostly through other women. That's where I see the necessity to come together as women, have these conversations, and not just conversations, but actually be real with each other. Let ourselves feel the impact that each one of us has on the world. So when you give me your clear yes, I feel the impact, your presence. Whoa, there is actually someone home. Women need to wake up to regain their voice and to create. Yeah, it's about creating, really, and that's how big it is. Creating a way forward for humanity, for life on the planet. And who else could do that if not women that carry life, have the capacity to carry life in them? So and that is what the resource of anger can be used for. And it starts in little, seemingly little things, which are huge steps in your life to be able to say yes or no, to be able to say, I don't want that, or this does not work for me, stop. To negotiate, to say, I have a different offer, I want something different, this is what I want, what do you say? Or I want you to do that for me, will you do that? I want you to, whatever, will you? To ask clear questions, to be really clear. There's a benefit that women have from not being clear. Not just women, people. We have a benefit. You could consider that there's a price to pay for a woman that doesn't have access to anger, but there's also a benefit from that. Because as we've noticed, I think each one of us here has noticed by now, if I actually show myself, it's really scary. And so the price is you have to be with the fear. The cost if you don't speak, and the benefit if you don't speak up is you don't have to feel the fear. You can stay comfortable. So that is where the discomfort comes in. Change can only occur if women are willing to be uncomfortable and to be with your own discomfort. I need to be okay with my own discomfort. So for me, it's actually freaking scary to hold space for a rage club. Yes, I'm excited about it. Yes, I'm angry enough. Yes, I'm sad at the state of the world. But I'm also really scared. It's a scary thing to do. And it's okay. It's great. That's just fear. And I can use that for the wisdom that the fear has. So coming back to anger, we can talk about the benefits of anger at great length, but really, as I said before, change happens when you have an experience. So I want us to go into some anger together consciously, and we will need the towel for that. So please grab your towel. And now could also be a good time to take a sip of water. You'll need to drink lots of water with any of this kind of work. And then if you have your towel, you roll it up into a sausage. So that you have a sausage that you can grab with both hands. And then please stand up for this exercise. We will go together and I will just show you what we're going to do. So you hold this towel with your hands next to each other, so close that they touch each other. So you have two index fingers actually touch each other. Your hands are touching. And you will use the towel as a jumping pad for your anger. So you can use it to wring it like you were wringing someone's neck. You're so angry. Yeah. So you use it for that. And we're going to go in 10% steps. So let's go just to 20% together to start with, and 10% steps. And 10%, I will say go to start. So we start together. I just want to demonstrate to you. So 10% is there's no sound yet, and it's not as high as you might think. So 10% is just like, so my breath goes faster. I start feeling the heat rise in my body a little. Certain parts of my body want to move. The jaw is becoming a bit active. So that's 10%. And then we'll go to 20%, which is more, and that's just before the sound comes out. So it's double of that, and it goes. So the growl might want to come, and it's just before you actually have a sound. So we'll go in 10% steps, and enjoy the ride. If you can, please look into the camera. It's for your to stay in connection with us as you go into anger. And what else? Yeah, let's just center, ground, and bubble again really quickly together. So you make sure that you have your center, that you're really present in your body right now. So you're putting your attention, center of your attention into your physical body again, or making sure that it's still there. Then you declare your grounding cord brown. Is mine. And
Green.
yeah, feel free to say the color. And you declare your personal bubble of space. And especially for you, Claire, as a newcomer, but also for you others, make the grounding cord a bit fatter. Make it quite fat so that you don't get lightheaded. The grounding cord is really a support tool here so that you can stay in your body, in your experience. Okay, so at the count of 3, we go to 10%. 1, 2, 3, go. And 20%. And bring it all the way to your feet. Yeah, wringing that towel, letting it go to 20%. Feeling the heat. Move your face if you need. Go. And then go back to 10%. So halving it. And then all the way back to 0. Relaxing your body, bringing it back to 0. And stop. Now stay in your body and notice that energy in your body. Yeah. That energy, the clear anger energy, belongs into your bones. So without necessarily knowing how it goes, just let it with your intention into your bones, that anger energy, and let it circulate there. And if other feelings or emotions come up, just let that be here. It's also welcome. Guys, anything to share from any of you?
Yes, at some stage I went into my head, like trying to be about the percentage, and I went into my head like, is this really 10%? Does this look like 20%? And I started getting lightheaded.
Mm.
And yeah, it was a great reminder to be in my body, in my experience.
Yeah, thank you. That's great. Great distinction.
I noticed I really enjoyed doing that. Like I really like feeling that happening in my body and letting this heat happen and like this sound starting to come up. I really enjoy it.
Thank you.
I had thought that I was pretending and it wasn't real.
You thought or you felt it?
They were very strong thoughts that was blocking feel, but no, I felt it.
You felt some anger.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, I found it quite difficult to do that. Maybe, yeah, for me, it felt like I had to try really hard to do it and couldn't. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure what I got out of it.
Mm-hmm. It looked to me, thank you, Claire. It looked to me like you were feeling some sadness towards the end. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I guess inside my head, actually, that whole time I was just screaming different things and repeating them. That kind of often happens to me with thoughts. I get fixated on a thought, and inside my head, I keep saying a sentence or something about that thought, and it repeats over and over.
Mm.
Yeah, like a broken record.
Are you willing to share with us the sentence that you heard in this round? Broken record sentence.
Okay. Well, I was thinking about something specifically that makes me feel angry now, and for the past couple of years is communication is difficult. It's getting easier, but yeah, just the lack of connection with people because of the language. I feel like I constantly want to connect with different people, but I have to say a much simpler version of what I'm actually thinking, and it feels like I can't connect with people. I can't have real connections with anyone, and it's really lonely. And I was inside my head, I was just screaming about how I just hate my partner's family. I don't know if I don't really hate them, but I just hate the situation when they're all together and they're all talking loudly all together, and I just lose track of what they're saying and I can't understand, and I'm just this quiet. It feels like I'm a child sitting at the table with the adults, and yeah, it makes me really angry that I can't communicate.
Yeah, thank you, Claire. One thing I hadn't mentioned yet is that there's a difference between feelings and emotions. So feelings that's in the context of possibility management, that distinction has been explored and found. And their feelings are what is relevant right now. That's the conscious anger that I've been talking about. And then when we've grown up that it's not okay to be angry, what happens is the feeling gets squashed and it becomes locked up, and then it becomes an emotion. An emotion is basically a blocked feeling that we then carry around for as long as it hangs around. But it's the difference you can notice is that an emotion is not from this very moment. It gets triggered in this moment, but it has actually not so much to do with this moment. So an emotion is something from the past, and it's a doorway for healing. So the purpose of an emotion is that you could go through an emotional healing process where you get to express that whole emotion that was there at the age of whatever, 5, 4, maybe just from yesterday. It doesn't have to be only childhood. And that is then, that frees up space in you to be able to access your pure feeling of anger. And the feeling of anger is then to navigate in this very moment, to know what you care about, to have a boundary, to say, stop shouting so loud here, I cannot hear a word. So that would be a conscious use of anger. And why I'm saying that is because it seems like there's two elements of anger in what you're experiencing. One is the emotional, when you were a child and you just had to sit still and the adults would talk over your head. That gets triggered by the situation with your partner's family. And there's nothing bad about that. It's great to have that clarity. So your conscious anger would serve you to do something about it, to change the situation, to change how you act in that environment. But it won't be accessible to you unless you look at what's in the way. And part of that is what we're going to do next. I have a sense, let's take a bigger risk. So we're going into up to 50% anger together. Again, we're going in 10% steps. And if you don't reach the 50, it's totally fine. You go as high as you can go. It's just we're not going higher than 50 at this stage. And we're going together. So from 25% onwards, the sound comes. Yeah, so you're allowed to make sound and scream and yell. And then from 35-40% you have the voice coming out. So let those voices then just be there. You can be, this is sort of an instant healing also if you allow yourself to express all that anger, even if it's a childish anger. You're making space for that to be expressed, so it's like an instant healing happening, completing that emotion. So we'll go to 50%. At 50, you'll be screaming at the top of your lungs, and you'll have words come out like, whatever it is. I don't fucking care. Stop doing this. I have a yes. I have a no. Stop it. And it doesn't have to make sense to any of us what you say, not even to yourself. And it doesn't have to be nice, and it doesn't have to, it's not for anybody but for your experience. Any questions around that from anybody?
No.
Are you all willing to do this experiment, to try it out?
Yes.
Yes, and I want to say that this towel can be put in the mouth. Or
Yeah, if it's getting
if
too
the
loud.
sounds get,
So you can muffle your sound by putting that into your mouth. Or, yeah. Okay. Then let's go. At the count of, or just slowing down, take another deep breath. Check that you're centered. Declare your grounding cord if you need to. Make it nice and wide. And declare your personal bubble of space. And then at the count of 3, we go to 10% to start with, and then we'll go in 10% steps. 1, 2, 3, go. And 20%. %30. %40. Fuck! Yes! No! I said no! I want to hear you! Where's your voice? Ah! Say these words! Go! 50%! Ah! Yes! Fuck yes! Hell yes! Say the word! No! Yes! And say it, Dimitra! Say the word! Just one word! Even if you say fuck off, you say something! Go! And stop!
Yes.
Stop! Coming back to 0 in your own time. And letting that energy into your bones. Yeah, you've done great. Let it circulate in your bones. Yeah, making space. You're making space for yourself. Okay. Feelings are welcome. If you feel joy, you may feel joy. If you feel sad, you may feel sad. If you feel scared, you may feel scared. If you feel more anger, you may feel angry. It's really, let it be here. I feel glad. And if you want to, you can sit back down.
I'm feeling also joy, especially watching Rita, she was opening her body, and then I had this, I don't know, somehow these things like always when I rage, it's like this, like small and very tight in the body. And then I was seeing Rita like this, and I said something. I felt glad, and I don't know, something worked for me. Yeah. Yes. That that experience anger could feel like this. That was the new, like as a thought at least. Yeah. Thank you.
Yay.
Thank you.
I felt, yeah, it was quite difficult. And I was still suppressing a lot of my anger, and it was difficult to let it out. Yeah, so I felt like I was concentrating on the towel, and I couldn't quite let go. Yeah.
Thank you, Claire. And I celebrate, that's one capacity of joy. It's like I celebrate that you've gone wherever you could go. Like this is your first time doing this, and I celebrate your courage to just go wherever you could go. Like, would you make a little doorway open in your heart that you can allow appreciating yourself for your courage?
Yeah, I think I can.
Yay. So this is our appreciation for you. You don't have to give anything back. You can just receive from us.
Oh.
Yeah. Open your heart and let it in, and through your back can go back to where your I don't know, where your purpose comes through, this courage, yeah, to go. Like you send it back to the courage. You don't even have to hold on to it. You just let it in. Appreciation for your courage. Thank you.
I'm feeling a bit of sadness because of remembering to the first time I sat in a rage club. I suddenly just had this memory of being under the house that I was living in at the time, and shut myself in because I was so terrified of what was happening, and I didn't want anyone to know what I was doing. And I feel sad about what is that sadness? Everything that's happened since then, and how much I've been witnessed in my rage, and how much this has changed me being able to like show up in the world. And there's something really powerful about being seen angry and for it to be okay. And I feel sad that it's not, that it took me so long to find that. And I think just seeing you here, Claire, doing this, that made me remember that for myself. That you're here.
Thank you, Millicent.
Thank you.
I want us to use the next 20 minutes for another exercise or experiment. And I don't know quite which one. So I would like to hear from you, like, what is your biggest challenge with anger? Just a sentence. What is your biggest challenge with anger, even right now in this very moment? What do you wish you could do with your anger?
That use it unreasonably. Unreasonable, yes. Unreasonable, no.
Thank you.
To follow the impulses, to not criticize myself, just to say whatever I want to say, not stop myself.
To a challenge I have with my anger is to to not put up with stuff I don't want to put up with, and maintaining this boundary.
Mm-hmm.
I want to, maybe learn to use anger like a resource, as you said earlier, and not think of it as something to be suppressed and hidden and to be ashamed of it, and to think that it's not normal, to be scared of it, to actually be true and say, I'm not okay with something. I want it to happen in this way. Can we talk about this? That's what I would like.
Okay, thank you. I feel glad that all of you can say what you want already. So you just did that. That's one application of conscious anger. You just did that. And I want each of you to have a chance to practice that, what you said you want. So we'll go into breakout rooms. So you will be in breakout rooms and I will jump between the two breakout rooms. One of you will be experimenting with the topic that you're bringing. So following my impulses to say what I want, for example. That would be for you, Dimitra. And then the other person is a role-playing partner. So you're going to play a role in service for the other to practice. And you'll do that for 5 minutes. So Dimitra, you would say maybe, can you be my mother or my father or my whatever? And they always just talk without end, and I shrivel, I don't speak my impulses. And then they do that and you practice saying your impulses. Just radically practice. And so each one of you does that with their topic. So you say, who is the other person representing? And give them a really short description of that's what the person does. And then you practice your thing. So for you, Claire, you would practice saying, stop, that doesn't work for me. Maybe that is the first bit. So to be able to say what you want, you first need to be able to cut, to say no. No. You can say no or stop, that doesn't work for me. Yeah, and so you practice doing that. For Millicent, it would be being unreasonably with your anger. Just get angry and then the other person would be a person that gives reason why this is not reasonable and so on. And for you, Rita, it would be something about your, not putting up, maintain your boundary and not putting up. So with what doesn't work for you. Is that clear enough? Is that clear for everybody?
Yes.
Yes.
And I'll come in and coach, provide some possibilities how you could maybe do it more radical so that you can get, or that you can really connect to your anger. So maybe that's one more piece to say is the anger really doesn't come from your head. So if you're doing it from your head, just stop it. Don't. And if it cannot come from your body, that's just not where you are. You don't have to pretend. So find what does it feel like, this low amount of anger even, and then let that speak. Yeah, to make it real, really go into this role play as if it was real, and then the anger will come up. Okay. Then I will not write anything at the beginning, but I will write when it's time to swap, so that the other person gets a turn. And you'll have 5 minutes each. Okay. Ready?
Yes.
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 Oh.
Prefer. Do you have any preparation?
That would be good. I would like to go second.
Okay, but then I want you to be my aunt.
Okay.
Her name is Manya, and she's just babbling about, she starts speaking for one thing and speaks like 5 minutes, whatever is coming, so just
Okay.
speak for whatever you want.
Okay, so I can just speak nonstop about
Yes,
whatever.
like the politics or.
Okay. Do we begin with this, or is this the second part?
No, just go. And
No.
Dimitra's role is then you just talk now and fill up the space with whatever. It doesn't have to make sense. And Dimitra goes and
Okay.
practices. Go.
Okay. So this week I've been doing a lot of painting, and it's been taking up all my time, and I haven't had time for anything else. But I've had all these other appointments, and it's really stressful having to deal with all of these things all the time.
Can you speak slower? I don't understand you.
Okay. It's difficult to find things to talk about.
Keep going.
Can I? What shall I talk about?
Even that doesn't.
Can I have a topic? Can someone
Shopping.
give me a
Shopping.
topic?
Talk about shopping.
No.
Oh, shopping. Okay. Yeah, shopping is like an addiction, and there are so many things that I want, but I don't want to spend the money. And I constantly tell myself it's okay to go to some shopping event, but really it's ruining my goals of not spending money and buying things.
Dimitra, what's
is
happening with
only
you?
a
Try something.
temporary
Yeah.
fix.
Yes.
Keep going, Claire. So I'm just coaching Dimitra.
It's a temporary fix, and I notice that it makes me feel really great for
Yes.
maybe
Just
an
say stop.
hour.
Dimitra, say
and-
stop. Just say stop.
So, okay.
Okay, keep going, Claire, so that Dimitra can.
Yeah, because for
practice
Claire, I can say things, but in the real life, I never say stop. Like now, I can say stop, but in the real life, I never say stop. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, and that's
Okay.
why you're practicing
Yes.
here. Oh, keep going.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yes, shopping has been an addiction for me, and
Yeah.
I think that.
Stop. I don't want to talk about shopping. Shall we speak about how are you?
Okay. How are you?
Yeah, this doesn't work for me. I ask you, how are you feeling? I want to know how are you feeling. Yeah.
Okay. I am feeling a bit nervous and blocked.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. And me too. I will, yes, I'm glad that you're living in Italy. Like, I wanted to share from the moment I heard that you are in Italy, that I felt joy that you're so close, geographically at least. Yeah, and
Okay, I propose that, Claire, you start over so that Dimitra has another go at interrupting. So it's for you, Dimitra, it's really interrupting your aunt. So find a way to interrupt her, whichever word you say, whichever nonlinear gesture. Go.
Okay. I am constantly fantasizing about shopping, and I have a list of places I would like to go to. And actually, I've made some plans to go there by myself. But
is
really,
there is
I
okay? You want to go by yourself? Where?
I want to go anywhere by myself, actually.
Yeah, Dimitra, make it more
because-
radical. Like pretend that you're really not interested in that conversation and you're gonna shift to another conversation no matter what this other person wants. Yeah, that fear.
Okay.
You need the fear and then use your anger. Go. And Claire, keep going. Just do what you're doing. Great.
I want to drive in the car places by myself and be independent. And yeah, shopping is.
I felt, yeah, I feel so let's I feel so angry. I feel so angry. I feel so angry that I cannot stop you. My God. And I feel angry. I let you speak without say stop. Hearing all this blah 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 blah.
Thank you. So it's time to swap around and just notice. So Nimitra, please don't use this to beat yourself up, okay? You're practicing.
Okay.
This is for
Okay. Cool.
for
Cool.
playing.
Yes, I already did. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, then it's your turn, Claire. Will you tell Dimitra what
Okay.
role?
Yes, I would like you to be my partner. His name is Andrea. He's Italian. He's most of the time very calm, but he gets angry when he is stressed.
And I speak loud?
Yes, he, like many Italians, he speaks quite loud and passionately.
Perfect.
Yes.
Okay, then go.
Okay,
I'll
so
be back. I'll just...
Claire, yes, I don't want to go there.
What are you feeling sad about?
Well, I'm just sort of sad that you are alone and they did that to you. Like, what are you going to do about that?
Okay, use your anger and just be unreasonable also. Just go like, that's not your business.
Ah,
Get out of my space. Something like that. Go.
yeah. Yeah, because this, like, my next step of practicing is not like I don't want to go there. It's like, how do I transform the space?
Let it come outside of you. So practice until it comes.
I mean,
your anger does that.
Yeah.
Just get angry and be unreasonable. Be angry.
I don't want to be pitied. I don't want your pity.
Yeah.
And yeah, I am keen to have a for feelings check-in. Would you like to do that? And I would like to hear also about the sadness that you just shared.
Cool, Rita. Well, I mean, that's all nice and fun, but I mean, it's actually quite a big deal. And if you really want to like talk about it, it could be, I mean, just come and have some wine and we can talk about it. You want to do that?
No, thanks. And I'm not interested in to keep talking about it. I want to move forward.
And did you see the way that they looked at you that time, walking down the street? Like, who do they think they are? And it's like they want to take your power from you or something. Like, what a dumb like world. How do you do that? Like,
thank you. Like,
don't you
thank you
feel-
for caring. And what stopped you from saying something in that moment when you noticed this?
Oh, I would, but it's not really the kind of thing I do. You know what it's like? You just don't really want to go there. It sort of breaks. I mean, that's just not what you do.
Rita, let your anger be there. Go. Let it speak.
It sounds like you have something to say to this person.
Yeah, I mean, fuck you. Like,
Yeah, if
when you
if this is
say
what
that-
you have to say to this person, like, yeah, do it. And I don't want to be part of this.
Mm, yeah, it makes it really hard for me to hang out with you. Like, I might not even call you up next Saturday because
Yeah,
you're just like,
that's okay for me. I am not interested in this like this drama and the gossiping.
Go, Rita.
fine. You can find some other friends, and I will invent some things about you.
And how much stressful the situation is. You cannot get, like, how if we don't take a decision right now, what will happen
Stop.
later? You don't
Stop
understand
talking.
how this happened.
Stop.
Claire, come on.
No, stop. It's not true.
Yes,
Stop.
Claire, it's true. It's totally
No.
true.
And rather
If-
than
if-
talk
if
about,
it's,
yeah, so Claire, rather than you keep going, Dimitra, rather than say it's not true, just say this doesn't
yes,
work for
if
me.
we
Stop
don't
it.
do it now, when? You need to understand. It's super important. Like, I
No,
need a
stop.
decision.
This is
I
not
need.
working for me.
If we don't
Yeah,
take a
speak
decision
louder.
right
for me.
now,
So that he
it
can
will
hear you,
never
that he can
happen.
feel you. Go.
You know, it's no,
Stop.
no, Claire. It's
This
no, it's
does
not like
not
this. You don't
work
get me.
for
You
me.
don't get me. What I
Stop.
want to say, my feelings, they're so
No,
important.
this is not
my,
working
my
for me.
head is
I want
driving
to
me
speak.
crazy.
Stop.
But everything is inside me.
Okay,
Come
so
No,
Claire, if
shut
that
up
doesn't,
and
if it doesn't land, you could even consider, so you can say, stop now, or we'll leave this room.
yes, and
So-
it's like, my God, Claire, come on, we have to be in the same page. You have to get with
No,
me. You have to
stop.
get
Stop
along to me.
right now, or I will leave this room. Stop.
Oh, that landed. And then you do that. If he would continue, you do that. You leave the room until he's willing to have a communication in both directions. Thank you. Okay, it's time to come to an end. And I'll see you in the main room. Anger researchers, what did you find out? What jewels, which gold do you bring back? What worked for you? What didn't work for you? Yeah.
I found, like, in these situations that where I don't want to put up with, like, yes, I can to some, yeah, I can say, no, I don't want this, or I'm walking away, I'm ending this conversation. I don't do it perfectly, and I can do it. And then the next step to actually, instead of shutting down the space, not having so much focus on my no, but instead then going like, how do I create the space I want, and how to invite this person to go there, to offer. And maybe I don't even need to say no. If when this boundary is so clear in myself, in my space, maybe I don't even need to speak a no. I simply refuse the offer and I invite the person to go somewhere else. Mm-hmm. And this is like this edge I'm in, where I'm so incompetent. And I get in this like, what do I do if I'm not just shutting the space down or moving away from the space? This is an edge I'm exploring. And I feel glad also about it.
Yeah. So that's where I invite you to playful out, like really letting your anger experiment. So speaking from your anger and letting yourself hear a different thing. So you just say, no, and and you just let your anger speak.
Mm.
And it may well be that, actually you will get to a stage where the anger is more the space holding quality. And then you can allow your fear to be there, or your sadness, and use it for connection. And still the anger is there as an undercurrent informing you. It's like, this is what I want. Okay, so I create connection, I make an offer, and then it's a low amount of anger that is enough to make the offer. And still it is there. So yeah, cool.
Yeah.
There's more space to experiment. Which other
Thank you,
discoveries?
Julia.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Rita. I found that I confuse myself with my yeses and my nos. Like Rita was asking me to do things as if she was somebody. So she was being someone at work asking me to do stuff. And I was like, I could say yes. I could say yes. I wouldn't really mind doing that. But it's not really a yes. Like it actually is a no. And it's really scary for me to say no. Just no. Yeah.
So you notice there's a no in you. That's what you notice. But then your thoughts come in and tell you could be saying yes.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Okay, great. So that's the experiment, is to really stay with the unreasonable, just really committed to the anger and say no, 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 whichever, yeah, so that it lands. And yeah. Yes. Great edge to walk, to prime that. It's part of training the anger muscle, to radically rely on your anger as a resource of information for your life. I've had that happen a few times in the last few weeks, where I heard myself say no, because I knew it's like an immediate connection now. I say no because it's just my anger's there, and I say no. Or I say yes, my anger's there, and I say yes. And then hearing myself say no, and like, it's not very reasonable to say no here. I wonder what comes from that situation. But it works because it makes space for the next to emerge. And I don't know how it goes. I don't know how it goes when I say no to something that would be so reasonable for me to just do quickly. And I say no anyway, and then I might not have the next piece, and it's okay. It can then unfold. And that frees up energy. I don't have to think about things like, what is the consequence if I do this? Or, if I say no now, then there's so much bargaining going on in our heads about bargaining. I mean, I've noticed in myself that there's a lot of transactions going on unspoken. So I realized I was considering, if I say no now, will they say no when I want something from them? Do I have to pay with a yes so that they say yes to me going forward? Or if I say no, will they hate me? Will they not love me anymore? So better say yes so that they stay my friend. And it's absolutely, like, that's such a fake relationship to have with anybody. And it's at the same time really scary, because at any moment people could walk away and say, who are you? You're just this no person. But then if that's the case, it's also trusting, you have every no is actually a doorway for a yes to what do you really want. And that's in different words of where you are now, Rita, this exploration of how do I create the yes? How do I create the next bit then? Okay, what did you discover, Claire? Did you discover anything that you want to share with us?
Yes, it was an interesting exercise, and it felt strangely real. Yeah, you did a great job at acting the part of my partner, and and I felt stuck as to know how to do, a bit powerless as to how I could make you stop. And because you were quite relentless with your speaking on and on. I feel a bit tired now.
And I it worked when the last round when I was there. It worked. What did you do differently?
Well, at first I got stuck in trying to reason, but it wasn't really working because it was trying to reason with something unreasonable. So then I went with just saying stop, but I wasn't very forceful, honestly. And so then I started trying to be more assertive, I guess. And in the end, it did work. But yeah, I didn't have any ideas about where to next, about how I would continue from stop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had a sense that remembering that you are not bound to stay in a space where the other person doesn't actually want to hear you, like he's not interested in your communication, that you could actually be so radical to leave. That's another that gave you, it looked from here like that gave you an option that you could then stand in that power of yours, like, if you're not stopping, I'm out of here, I'm leaving. And I could really sense the shift in you. You were assertive. Yes, you were. All of a sudden, it was like, whoa, I better listen to this woman, otherwise she's out of here. You really were there with the clarity of that's what I'm going to do. So that worked.
Yeah, that was scary because it felt like it was a pretty grand thing to say, that if you don't stop, then I'm leaving. It was difficult to say.
Yeah.
But it worked.
It worked because you were looking after your space. You didn't make him wrong. You didn't how do you call it, blackmail him. You didn't say you have to be quiet so that I stay here. It's more like you're looking after your space and you don't have to, it's like your bubble is for that. You don't have to have anybody. You don't have to endure anybody. Not your mother, not your partner, not your children, trampling all over your space and peeing in the corners energetically. Yeah, or vomiting into your space with verbal expressions and energetic. And there's a lot of that going on. So the first step is really just to be able to say no. That's the first step. So you don't have to think about the next steps after. Having a clear reference point in your system for that is something that we would keep practicing, that we will keep practicing in Rage Club. That is really anchored for you in your everyday life, because yes, I get it. This is an artificial exercise in a way that Dimitra is not actually your partner, or whoever was experimenting now. It's not the real life situation. And yet, if you're really practicing and experimenting, something in you shifts, and that, allow that to happen. It's my invitation. And let yourself be surprised that how effective that is. Practice does change things.
And I want to add something. Claire, you said something about you were scared also of saying stop, because if he also did stop, you don't know what do you want, or what would you say then. And you don't have to know. You can have, just as Julia was mentioning, she has her no and she speaks a no, and it's like she doesn't even know, like she just had a no. So having this clarity of, I want this to stop, I have a no for this, and I don't know yet what my yes is for, but I have a no for this. It's great to have this clarity. And then you can start exploring what else is there. And the first step is to say no. And I don't know what else.
Okay, thank you.
And you said and before you were coming in the space, you had already said some very clear stops and energetically, it was very clear. And then, I did it in purpose to go, but it landed even before when you say stop from you. Yeah.
Thank you for mentioning that, Dimitra. So, yeah, can you be radically on your own side, Claire? Like that you are really in your own team, appreciating yourself for, hey, I've tried something really radically different today. And then to acknowledge that the world out there is not just, it's not just pink fluffy, everybody wants to be an adult space. We have shadow sides as humans, as I'm sure you know. And gremlins might not be willing, it's like they're biting into flesh like a dog that wants to attack and biting their teeth in and they're not letting go. That can happen. But it's still because it's not actually a dog with teeth in your body, you can still in this situation still go. But just as a reminder that if things don't always work with the clarity, you notice you have a clarity there and you're standing in your own authority, you're being centered, and then gremlins come and still attack or they don't stop. That's a whole, it's another, I want to say another kettle of fish. It's sometimes that requires then just the next level of your anger to navigate that, to hold your space, to make it so that these people, whoever they are, don't feed on you, don't feed on your energy beyond the place where you said stop. And that's a delicate path to walk. Like, it's not like you could turn to an objective observer and ask, so what happened here? Like, you're in your own little reality and the other person is in their reality, and you can only learn to make enough space for yourself so that you can observe the results. What are the results that you're creating in your life? And at the end of the day, it's only about that. What are the results? It's about creating different results in your life and in the world around you. And if it works, you are creating different results. If you're not creating different results, something is not working. And then you can be curious about that. So it's, even when it's not working, it's not food for you to beat yourself up. That's not what this body of work is about. It's about, rather than staying curious and having a team saying, oof, I've tried that and it's not working. I've tried that and it's not working. What am I not seeing here? Can you give me some possibilities? Okay, thank you. We're coming to a close and I would love to hear, just give us some space to land this space together. Do you have any questions to take home with you or anything to say?
Yeah, I feel glad to be in a space with women having these conversations, enraging together and supporting each other. Yeah, and thank you, Julia, for holding space. And everyone else to showing up.
Thank you, Rita.
Thank you, Rita.
Yeah, I feel glad to be here as well. And to be practicing with the team.
Yes, me too. I feel glad, and I want to say that I was feeling joy not only seeing Rita, but then I saw every of you, and it was inspiring. Like when we did the anger, and like every woman was so differently being in their anger, and that was really inspiring for me. So thank you, Julia, for holding the space.
I feel very grateful. Thank you, Yulia, for having this space. It was a really good experience to meet you all. And it's amazing having a connection with women in different parts of the world, and we're all here together. It was really lovely. It was difficult for me. It feels like the tip of the iceberg, but it was a really good start. And I liked what you said, Julia, about being kind to myself and recognizing courage that is inside of me. So I would like to, be able to recognize my courage and, be kind to myself.
Thank you, Claire, for saying that, which reminds me of a representative for this anger body of work is a sword. So that it's sword of clarity, and it has two sides. It has a side to the outside to cut out bullshit, to say no, to say yes, and it has a blade, a sharp side towards myself, which is not for cutting myself or beating myself up, but it's also for identifying, wow, I'm bullshitting myself here by not acknowledging the immense beauty, courage, wisdom in me. Yeah, so it's this fierce, it's the sword for fierce love towards yourself also. Thank you. So you're welcome to join our 4 weeks journey starting next week, Friday on the 12th of May. If you want any more information around that, please let me know. And yeah, I would love to travel with you, and I'm glad to start next week, and I'm also scared to start next week, because how does it go? It's to be reinvented with whoever shows up. Yeah, let's take a deep breath. And let the sounds out. And then grab your energetic sword and carry it into the world. Go well.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.